You've done something really unique. You've taken the concept of VAs, virtual assistants, from countries like the Philippines. And some people get those to be like executive assistant to the CEO in a startup, maybe because they set their appointments, go through their email, do things like that. Some little things here and there. But you've literally taken this to another level that most people couldn't pull off. So can you explain your use of virtual assistants to people and what you've done and how you've done it and what it's done for your company?
Sure. First off, I want to give a shout out to Eric Espinosa, who taught me everything to know about that.
Part of our Startup Ignition family.
Yes. He opened my eyes to this. I had hired a data entry specialist out of Venezuela through some agency to do some data entry stuff, and he lied on his hours and didn't do a good job, was bad at details. So I had just in my head written off any foreign workers. I didn't trust the whole system. So, but then Eric, he and his Coconut co-founder, Tyler, when they were doing Venture Validator, they had hired some Filipino virtual assistants, and they had this whole process to follow for hiring and vetting them. And then on Marco Polo, they kind of talked me through all of how to do this. So I was like, oh, wow, I could just find a virtual assistant. They could just do they're just like a team member remote, but I pay them $5 an hour instead of $5K a month or whatever it is. So we hired our first virtual assistant ourselves. And then through Coconut VA, once Eric and Tyler started that, we got the next 3. And they helped us with the client support, billing, scheduling, and then some other just little tasks. But after those third ones, I was like, oh my gosh, these are just brilliant, sharp people who are adaptable and learn quickly. And I want to hire as many of them as we can because we could use the help. So after those 3, we started doing all the recruiting ourselves. And we've since grown to about 50 team members in the Philippines and now in Latin America and some in Africa as well.
Wow.
So we have web developers out there. We have graphic design, events coordinator. Our whole client support staff is out there. Account managers, client success admins. Our executive assistants are out there. Our director of operations. We have a call center of about 20 agents as well.
And you found that these account executives that were just getting warm leads and not really generating, prospecting their own big deals, when you terminated them, these VAs we're actually closing those deals for you.
We have 2 sales reps who are in the Philippines, and they're just killing it. Their names are Mario and Kansi. And they're
Careful. We don't want them to be poached.
Their names are Luigi and just kidding.
Mario. I guess it is. I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs would benefit from doing what you're doing. Just the margin difference of what you can save on costs, but also get amazing work.
Yeah, but as you do this, what are the don't do this, don't do that. What are the mistakes? Why? Because many people could not pull off what you've pulled off.
Our usual rule of thumb is remote work it's hard. It's hard to manage.
It is hard to manage. So you've got a feedback loop. You got to be always willing to learn and adapt. And the concept of hiring is only risky if you're afraid to fire is very true, especially in remote settings. I guess what's difficult for a lot of people who try to scale up is they hire one of the first people they interview, they think, oh, I can train anybody to do anything. And they bring them on there, and then it's like really struggling to get the person to just pick up on the stuff. And then they think, oh man, just hiring Filipino workers doesn't work for us. It didn't work for us because it didn't work out with this first person. Well, for my executive assistant, I went through 4 or 5 people that I trialed for months.
Wow.
And ended up with my guy, Jay, who's phenomenal. And then a lot of our roles, we're willing to take the time to find the right.
So in other words, it sounds like with VAs, you can actually iterate faster.
Yes.
The process goes faster because when you hire somebody here in the US and you hire them to a position, they're this W-2 employee, you don't want to fire them in 2 weeks. You don't want to fire them in 1 month. You feel that's not fair. You can get enough. But in this one, this VA is not working out. You just move on to a new VA.
In a way that's respectful in everything too.
Yes, exactly. And respectful. I meant for sure that you're doing that. But the rapidity with which you can go through the cycle seems faster.
Yes. I want to emphasize they call it the freelancer world in the Philippines. Working online, it's like the holy grail of careers for a lot of people because they don't have to commute in horrible traffic.
Yeah.
They can work from home, and especially single parents, they can work nights, but then you take care of their kids, get them ready for school, sleep while they're at school, all this stuff. A much more preferred lifestyle for a certain type of worker. And iterations have been awesome. So we have a whole system now where when we put out a job post, we have the application is you send us a Loom video of 90 seconds telling us about yourself plus your resume. If we like their Loom video and how they communicate and present themselves, and they seem sharp and with it, then we'll send them a test task that's relevant to their job.
Yeah, you can test them easier too.
Yeah. With American workers, I feel like in the web development industry, they might have you do like tests.
Yeah.
But I feel like the average workers might even get offended if it's like, hey, do this test for us before.
I'm not doing that. And actually, it's just not part of the way we do things. So it's interesting. And I also noticed one thing. Is this correct? It's out of the 50, it seems like you got like 3 or 4 linchpin people that are really good in the Philippines. And one of them does all your recruiting and hiring now of other VAs. And then you have one that's like super good at helping you as the CEO. Then you have another one that's over maybe the sales or whatever, leads or whatever. It's like you have actually found, and those ones are really good at helping the other ones be more efficient. Is that correct?
I would say we have a lot more than 5 superstars. I mean, we found a lot of really wonderful people.
In other words, they become literally helpful in making sure the other ones are productive.
Exactly. So we've got...
and is there a pecking order hierarchy amongst them then?
Yeah, we don't even think of them as VAs. They're just remote team members. They fit into a hierarchy, and there's leadership positions, and people are accountable to their managers and whatnot.
Yeah,
so
they're part of the team. Yeah.
they're part of the team, yeah. And one of our very first VAs, she's been with us for 4 years at this point, and she oversees a team of like 20 plus.
Yeah, she's part of the culture. Yeah,
we've even flown her out here to the U.S. multiple times now. She's gone to Pest World with us, and we flew out to the Philippines and met a whole bunch of our team members there too. And
does this change their lives with the opportunities for them too?
I would say so. They many of them send really nice messages pretty often, actually, to say like, thanks for this wonderful opportunity. And people are paying for, in the Philippines, a lot of cultures, there are more, there's multi-generational households, right? And, so people are paying they're supporting their parents. They're sending their nieces and nephews to college sometimes. They're buying property. They're buying cars. They're traveling. They're going on vacations to, Hong Kong or Thailand or whatever, which is things that they couldn't have done before. Or maybe even if they were in a call center making decent money, their rigorous in-person schedules and, lack of work-life balances just doesn't provide the same quality of life at all. And something that we are proud to do is like every year between Christmas and New Year's, everybody gets that whole week off.
Wow. Yeah.
And that's something that was like totally unheard of for a lot of them. So I would say of all the meaningful aspects of Baton, providing for my family and Cody's family and all of our families, what gives me the most joy is just creating jobs for people. And
I just think back to my startups that I built up and had success from, and you have that Christmas party. And you see all the employees there, and you see the families,
and they're
you
making
see the
their
kids.
living from your work.
Yeah, and you're just like
what you started. Yeah.
Well, first of all, as a founder, you see, oh my gosh, that's millions of dollars of salary. But also, you see, wow, I'm supporting these many people, their lives, what they're doing in their free time, what their kids' soccer activity, whatever it is. It's like, wow, my company is doing and fueling that, and it's a really cool feeling, an impactful feeling.